Good afternoon. Good Sunday afternoon to you. I pray that everybody is doing well. Pray that you're safe, and I pray that all of you are healthy. I am presently at my church in Houston getting ready to do a wedding. And I saw where I've had a few persons to reach out to me and to ask me to share my opinion on current events. Um, I'm not a talking head. I'm not a person that, runs off at my mouth about all of my feelings, especially when my feelings may not necessarily be balanced, productive, or equitable. And so I did address this on Facebook, but I'll say it to you because, this you guys on this platform are real staunch supporters of me and everything I do. So I think it's fair for you to know how I feel. Um, when I looked at the incident where the gentleman, if I may call him that, kneeled on the neck of the man, um, it was it was hurtful. It was painful to watch for a lot of different reasons. Primarily being that um, when I saw that man, it doesn't matter what his past or his history or his record is or what have you. I saw myself. I saw a man that maybe taller than me, maybe a little darker than me, but a man that looked like me. And so a lot of emotion, a lot of feelings ran through me, but that wasn't the first time, clearly. I mean, that wasn't the first time. We've seen this over and over and over and over again in the United States of America, and we keep acting like we don't see it, like it's, the thing that made that particular the George Floyd incident so poignant was the arrogance of this particular officer and how he knew what he was doing. People were begging him to stop, and he just looked as if he was sovereign. Had a lot of feelings about that. Um, and I'm always careful to share my feelings along the lines of racial issues because if you share your opinion, the world has a way of taking one brush and painting the whole. And it's just my experience is that all police are not that man. I know a lot of police officers. I live next door to one. All police officers are not like that. All white people are not racist. All black people are not criminals. But in this society, we have a tendency to take one soundbite and paint a whole community with it. And so, outrage, controlled outrage, was my experience. Didn't want to be a person that would speak and would generate pour gasoline on the fire. Young people of the world clearly outraged. I didn't want to say anything to justify some of their behavior. Thank you, Jennifer. But I felt them. I felt them. And I felt this for a while because in America, it doesn't matter who you are or what you've accomplished or what good you do in the world when your skin is this color. There's a certain look you get. There's a certain attitude you run into from time to time. And this is not the majority, but there are far too many people who are antiquated in their thinking. And so I sat there. I sat in my rage. I sat in it, and I watched the television, and something beautiful came out of it for me as a 55-year-old black man. Something beautiful came out of it for me. I saw the protesters beginning to protest, and I noticed something remarkable. I noticed that the protesters, in a lot of instances, were more white than black. They were white, they were Asian, they were Hispanic, they were black. It was the world, and it was a new generation. It is a new generation that does not subscribe to the racism or the biases that my generation and the generation before me tried to hand down as a generational inheritance. And it's this generation saying, no more of this nonsense. And I watched day after day after day, and I'm looking at the protesters, and you know, the lie that all white people hate black people. All you have to do is look at television footage from the last 2 weeks, and you can see that's a lie. I watched young white brothers and sisters stretch across the front of the line to protect the brown and black brothers and sisters from the aggressions of the police. I saw that. That's documented. And so it said to me that, my being an eternal optimist is not in vain, and that we do have hope. And though my generation has missed it, this next generation, this world may be saved by the millennials. And that's something to say. I think that we have to take a very serious look at our politics moving forward as a country. I don't think we need a divider. I think we need someone to bring us together again. And I think that we have to continue the conversation about biases and racism and sexism, and to see the elderly gentleman that was pushed down by the police officer. Looked like he was young enough to be the man's grandson. Head hit the ground, blood running from his ear, and these people just walked by with no empathy, no concern. We are a nation of narcissists. We are a nation of narcissists. So that's about as much as I want to say. It's about as much as I want to say, and I think that's about as much as I need to say. I'm just glad to know that I love everybody, and that my testimony is that there are a lot of great people in the world, and most of them are not what we see on the nightly news. That's my testimony. So I love you all. There's my take on it.